February 26th, 2024. A quiet neighborhood in Hendersonville, Tennessee. The kind of place where people feel safe enough to leave porch lights glowing through the night, where neighbors recognize each other's cars, where nothing truly disturbing ever seems to happen, but sometimes. The scariest mysteries begin in the most ordinary places, because sometime before sunrise, 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers vanished, and more than a year later, nobody can fully explain how. Sebastian Rogers was described as intelligent, creative, and deeply loved by his family. He enjoyed building things. He loved technology. And according to those closest to him, he faced certain developmental challenges that made his disappearance even more concerning, because investigators believed Sebastian may have been especially vulnerable on his own. That's why the panic started almost immediately. According to reports, Sebastian was last seen inside his family home during the evening hours before he disappeared, but by the next morning, he was gone. No forced entry, no signs of violence, no obvious evidence explaining how a teenage boy vanished from his own neighborhood overnight. At first, authorities hoped Sebastian may have simply wandered away, but as hours passed, concern quickly turned into fear. Search teams flooded the area. Police officers searched nearby woods, neighborhoods, drainage areas, and walking trails. Volunteers joined massive search efforts across Tennessee. Drones scanned from above. K-9 units tracked possible scent trails. But despite one of the largest search operations the area had seen in years, there was no sign of Sebastian Rogers. And then the questions began. How does a 15-year-old disappear from a residential neighborhood without anyone seeing him? Why were there no confirmed sightings? And perhaps most chilling of all, how could somebody vanish so completely in such a short amount of time? As media coverage intensified, the case exploded online. TikTok creators discussed theories, YouTube channels dissected timelines, true crime communities examined every detail released publicly. And slowly, the mystery surrounding Sebastian Rogers became darker. Some people believed Sebastian may have wandered off accidentally and become lost. Others suspected foul play. And as investigators continued searching for answers, public speculation only grew stronger. Because cases involving missing teenagers often create one terrifying realization. Somebody usually knows something. Somebody saw something unusual. Somebody remembers a detail they didn't realize mattered. But in Sebastian's case, no breakthrough came. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. And the silence surrounding the case became unbearable for his family. Imagine waking up every morning not knowing where your child is, not knowing whether they're cold, hungry, scared, or whether somebody out there already knows the truth. That kind of uncertainty changes families forever. And perhaps that's why this case continues haunting so many people online. Because Sebastian didn't disappear from some isolated wilderness. He vanished from a suburban neighborhood, a place where people believed children were safe. And maybe that's what makes the story feel so disturbing. The idea that somebody can disappear almost instantly, without noise, without evidence, without explanation. Even now, investigators continue searching for answers. Law enforcement agencies have repeatedly stated the investigation remains active. Search efforts have continued. Tips still come in. And somewhere, Somebody may still know exactly what happened that night because cases like this rarely disappear from public memory completely, especially when the victim is young, especially when the timeline feels incomplete, and especially when there are still so many unanswered questions. What happened inside that neighborhood before sunrise? Did Sebastian leave willingly? Did he encounter danger after leaving home? Or does somebody know more than they've ever admitted publicly? Right now, nobody knows for certain, and that uncertainty is exactly what makes this case so chilling, because somewhere tonight, a family is still waiting for answers, still hoping for a phone call, still praying the mystery surrounding Sebastian Rogers will finally come to an end. But until that day comes, the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers remains one of Tennessee's most haunting, unsolved mysteries, a story built around silence, fear, and a teenage boy who seemingly vanished into the darkness without a trace. And somewhere out there, the truth may still be waiting to be uncovered.